if somebody came up to you and said, yeah, I don't really know much about farming, what would you want to tell them?
Well, I think for me, the biggest thing is, how ethically we treat animals. First off, why would we punish them in any way by not feeding them properly or giving them the right amount of water, or keeping them off the roads and putting them at risk, and Cole, even more than me. I mean, we're doing everything we possibly can to give them their best life, I guess, and we know we get it, we're profiting from it, but we're giving them a good life too. And anybody that thinks differently, I understand some people don't want to eat beef or whatever, but that's fine. But don't accuse me of not taking care of my stock.
Right. Yeah, I think that is honestly a very common trend when I ask that question, and I think that the proof, and I've said this before, is that or one of the proofs is, when you are calving and you lose a calf, the sadness, I think, that goes through, not necessarily that you lost money on that deal. It's that you lost this animal,
this life
that you love. You lost this life when it, and you're doing everything you can to make them live.
I'm glad you brought that up, because in every, I do something different every day, but I do the same thing year after year after year. And the number one thing that bothers me more than anything else I do, not an expensive breakdown or anything like that, it's losing a life on a newborn calf. If it's an older cow, I don't like it. I know how many dollars it is, but that calf, we do everything we can. And every Monday morning we clean the barn out. We put lime down. We put new bedding in. We're trying to keep them from getting sick. We're checking them every day, and making sure that nothing's slipping by us as far as getting pneumonia or whatever, because, there's wet ground, there's snow, there's stress. And, yeah, absolutely, losing a calf is my number one issue that I just, and as I get older, it bothers, I don't know if it probably doesn't bother me worse, but it sure feels like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that the other thing that a lot of people don't realize is when we are calving up here, what time of year it is, and just how variable. Like we can get snowstorms in May here.
Yeah.
And so a lot of your calving is probably done by May.
Well, it is, but that's something that people don't understand. They constantly ask us, why do you calve so early? Well, there's two reasons basically. One is because I want to spend time with my livestock while they're calving, and if I'm planting, they're not getting the care that I'm comfortable with. The other thing is, like I said, I sell breeding stock, and they, if you're gonna sell bulls that are, a year and a half after they're born, they need to be as mature as they possibly can for them to be able to do that without having problems. So that is also why we're calving as early as we are. So
right, there's a certain size you want them to get to by the time you are looking to sell them. It's very optimum in those ways. Have you done anything, or do you have any tricks to getting your cows to calve in a closer grouping? Do you have anything that you've tried and has worked, or tried and just hasn't worked?
I think that's pretty well known amongst the good operators, is that the mineral is extremely important, and also the quality of feed that they're getting too. They got to be in good shape, and they got to have their mineral, and and then obviously when they calve, they need to clean properly. You got to make sure that they don't get an infection from. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of times when a cow has twins, they don't clean like they should. So you really have to watch them closer.
Yeah. So I grew up on a dairy farm. And twins were very, very uncommon on our dairy farm. I would bet, I only remember maybe a handful of twins the entire time with dairy cattle, with Holsteins. My mom has since gone on, and she has beef cattle now, and she talks about twins way more often than I ever remember having twins. So, yeah.
So it skipped a generation, and then you and your wife had twins. So I think there's some connection there. We just got to look into
It does.
DNA of that. Yeah.
One question that I always ask too is, you spend a tad amount of time in the tractor, and a guy like myself enjoys a good meal. What is the best field meal that you've had before?
Anyone that's delivered to me and I can keep rolling. I'll tell you what, they can bring me some stuff that I wouldn't really even eat at home, but if it's brought to me, man, it's like the greatest thing. It can be a sliced banana that should have been thrown out a week ago. I'm devouring it.
Turning a little black.
Cole and our wives work, and so sometimes it's kind of sketchy, but we kind of look out for each other. And then we own the farm store down the road 5 miles, so Storla Station's got those Dakota Tom sandwiches, if nothing else.
Oh, wonderful.